So a couple of weeks ago I fell off my bike and it was pretty bad.
Lucky that. I have no idea. You okay? Go.
There's my helmet. Helmet shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, I went to the hospital and I had to stay there for a couple of days. They told me I wouldn't be able to exercise for at least 2 weeks, probably more. Now, I didn't want to spend 2 weeks in bed achieving nothing, just randomly scrolling through Netflix trying to decide what to watch next. This was my first major setback since I lost 9 stone last year, so it was important to try and stay on track and not put that weight back on and turn into a fat ass again. I decided what I needed was a plan of action, and in this video I'm going to cover what I did to make the best of being injured. So I started by making a quick list of goals on my phone. I like goals that make me feel like I'm accomplishing things and it's satisfying to tick things off the list. They had to be goals that I could do whilst I'm not able to exercise, and ideally I could do a lot of them whilst resting in bed, at least for the first few days. I wanted to come out of the injury feeling like I'd made good use of my time, so having a list of everything I wanted to achieve was a perfect start. Now, this is going to sound really obvious, but prioritising rest was my most important goal, so that's why it's number 1 on the list for me. I had all these things that I wanted to try and achieve whilst I was injured, but I didn't want those to get in the way of me actually taking the time to heal and rest up and get over the injury. I told myself I wouldn't feel guilty for doing nothing at all when I needed to take it easy, and I'd allow myself to completely switch off and relax as much as possible. After all, the better the quality of the rest and the more I get of it, the sooner I'll be able to return to running, riding my bike and doing all these other fun things that I now like to do in my life. Now, exercising is one of the main things I do for fun. I really enjoy it. It makes me feel so productive. Now, obviously, while I couldn't exercise, I needed to find something else to refocus my productivity on for a while. And this YouTube channel, being all about fitness, seemed like the perfect thing for me to spend some extra time on. I wanted to make a video about the crash that caused this injury, and I had a bunch of footage from the day already, so I got cracking with that first. Now, whenever I was talking to my family or friends and they asked me, how are you doing, what happened, I heard you'd had a crash, I just sent them the link to that. I got some free views on YouTube, and I made a video in the process, so productivity win-win. I also thought that my volunteering at parkrun would be an interesting topic for a video. Go and check that one out as well if you want. And then after all that, to try and distract you all from my complete lack of presenting abilities in my videos, I thought I'd try and make this room look a bit snazzier. So I brought a lamp over there, that light over there, and then twigs. I nicked those from the living room, so when my wife sees that, she's not going to be too pleased, but it's worth it for the video, right? I also finally got round to putting up my second medal holder on the wall. I've had it sat on the desk behind me in the box for at least 2 months, so getting that up definitely felt productive. Finally, I treated myself to some new camera and lighting gear, which I've set up in this room, but I don't really know how any of it works yet, so it's a work in progress. Finding these other areas to focus my productivity on for a while really helped me stay positive and motivated while I was injured. Maybe it's something that's worth you considering the next time you're injured. And the next thing that was a big deal for me was maintaining my weight. I was paranoid that this was going to be the start of my decline back to putting on weight, eating junk, not eating healthy. So staying on top of that was really important to me. The last 17 months now, I've weighed myself and tracked my calories every single day. While I was injured, I continued to do this to stay on track. Now, obviously, because I can't exercise while I'm injured, I knew I'd be able to eat a lot less every day. I was eating about 4,500, 5,000 calories every day before the injury because I was exercising so much all the time I could get away with it. I decided to lower my calories down to 3,000 and be strict with that limit. At the same time, I knew it was important to eat enough that my body had the fuel it needed to actually heal up. I tried to concentrate on continuing to eat healthy, good quality foods and not rely on takeaways every single day while I lay in bed. My bike needed fixing after the crash. I decided I would get it booked into the shop and take it back to have that work done as soon as possible so that when I was fully recovered, it would be there, ready and waiting for me to jump straight back on it and go and start exercising again. By the time I'd actually fixed the bike and I was able to go there and collect it and bring it back home, it was nearly 2 weeks later. If I hadn't have planned ahead and sorted this out, I would be like fine, I'd be ready to go and ride my bike and I wouldn't have had a working bike. So planning ahead was a really, really smart move. Now, when I am good to go, I can just day one, get on my bike and off I go. So after a few days in bed, I was okay to start going out for the occasional walk. I don't really enjoy walking, I find it pretty boring to be honest, but it was all I was allowed to do, so I was going to do it because it meant I could do some sort of exercise. It got me out of the house. I felt like I was doing something positive. So after a week of walking endlessly round and round the same areas by me, I was starting to get pretty bored of that, and I thought, right, now's the perfect time to volunteer at my local park run. I love park run, I try and do it every week as a runner, but I've never volunteered. And I've always had it in the back of my mind that the next time I'm injured, I will volunteer because it's the perfect opportunity and it's a brilliant way of turning something negative into something positive. I would definitely recommend trying it the next time you're injured. Now, suddenly having a lot of extra time, a lot of it in bed, sounded like the perfect time to teach myself a few new skills. Since I started this YouTube channel, which is massively successful, 21 subscribers as I'm filming this, there was a few things I knew I needed to learn more about. Basic filming, lighting, and just generally how YouTube works behind the scenes. There were a couple of YouTube books I really wanted to read, so I smashed through those in the first couple of days. I never seem to have the time to just sit and read these days, so it felt really productive and a good use of my time in bed. Plus I learned a ton about YouTube in the process. Now that I knew everything about YouTube and as a YouTube mastermind, I moved on to video editing. I knew I wanted to make a video about my crash and I knew there was some doctors' faces in the clip that I wanted to show. So I wanted to blur those out and I didn't know how to do that. I watched some YouTube videos in bed and it was much easier than I thought, and now I can blur faces. So if you need anything blurring, I'm your man. After I'd learned all that stuff, I read a few more books on general things, fitness, nutrition, recovery, and it was such a good use of my time. So it's been about 2 weeks now since the accident, and to be honest, I still don't feel 100% and I'm definitely not ready to start exercising. I'm going to do the sensible thing and chill out for a bit longer. On the plus side though, I do feel like my plans worked overall. I've maintained the same weight, which I set out to do, and I've done more in the last 2 weeks than I feel like I've done in a long time. Just having a list of things I wanted to achieve and then being able to go through and tick them off was fantastic as well. Being able to look back at that list now and see what I've actually managed to do with my time over the 2 weeks, it's just felt so rewarding and really positive, and I'm just so glad I did it. You should try it as well the next time you're injured. It really does work. So if you've enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like, maybe even subscribe. Who knows, you could be my 22nd subscriber. Thanks for watching.